Mike is one of the most reflective practitioners I've had the privilege of working with. Every year he sets instructional goals for himself and then works towards those goals systematically, gathering data about his progress, making adjustments as he goes to ensure that at the end of every year he has made improvements, he's gotten better at something in his teaching practice.
So I teach 1st through 5th grade science. All the school's 1st through 5th graders come to me once a week as a pull-out special. I think the most important thing in teaching is relationships. There are lots of levels of relationships you can have as a teacher. There's the relationship between you and your students and other students, and also the relationship between the students and the subject matter, which I see as sort of like a friendship. I want them to feel comfortable with the things we're studying so that they feel like these are things that are part of their life, things that matter. And as a science teacher, I'm not really teaching kids science as much as I'm teaching them to love and ask questions about the natural world. So as the teacher, I show them that this is something that I'm comfortable with and something that I love, and I want them to sort of follow my lead and to build relationships with all these amazing things that happen in the world around us, so that they feel like they belong in this world and that they get the sense that they can start poking around and asking questions just like the adults do. That this is all for us, this is all something we do together, and that students are natural scientists, especially elementary school students.
Christina has a style that holds students accountable to their learning, to both their independent learning and their learning with one another collaboratively. Christina shows a resilience, a reflectiveness of teachers that is very rare to find. Her students are always engaged in the lessons. Her students adore what she's doing, and they are constantly learning every time I walk into the classroom. Our scores at Watkins have gone up the past school year, and I think it's because of teachers like Christina who have dedicated themselves to embracing the changes and the new rigor of the Common Core and what we're doing here at our school. So we've seen 5th graders that have risen and come through Christina's classroom that are achieving at higher levels than they ever have here at Watkins before.
Children by nature are inquisitive. I mean, they always want to know how things work. Why did that happen? And so it's about building their own curiosities and making them really dig deeper into, the science of it all. Science is everywhere. From the weather to, changes in their bodies. I mean, science is everywhere. And so pulling some of the things that they're interested in and then making those connections to science helps it to all make sense. The joyous part of that is their responses. I really get to know from their responses how well they understand what they're being presented with so that I can redirect, guiding them to the appropriate responses. I really get a great feeling knowing that we've done our best each and every day, that they have given me their best each and every day, and that we're going to try to do that much more the next day.
Vanessa's a wonderful asset to Maury Elementary School. She's our think tank teacher, and her philosophy around children is children should learn through doing. So one of the main philosophies within her classroom is she ensures that all of her instruction is focused on students actually doing what it is that she's teaching. And she's noticed that the students are able to pick up on the concepts a little quicker, but also have a deeper understanding of the concepts because they're actually working through them and completing experiments using their skills that they have been taught previously. She keeps going from 8 to 3:30 and even beyond that. And what she does is, honestly, because she works with all the students and she has an accurate idea of what they need developmentally, she makes sure that all of her lessons are directly aligned to where they are in their developmental process.
So I started off teaching just 3rd, 5th, and middle school, and when I came to Maury Elementary, I had to expand to teach preschool through 5th grade. So my day can consist of a group of 3-year-olds and end with a group of 10-year-olds, and sometimes they're back to back. But this space is really a place for them to explore whatever the age-appropriate scientific content is. That they have a chance to engineer, to learn through play. Even if they're 10, they're learning through play. And that they are really working to collaborate and building problem-solving skills on top of whatever content I'm working on. But we stay away from the textbook and really dive into what we're doing. And I feel my philosophy is that kids learn best when they're doing. For me, there's not really one way to quantify why I love what I do. It's just kind of in everything that I love what I do. I like the change and the shift. It keeps me on my toes. So on one day, I'll see 5 classes, 5 different age levels, 5 different thinking sets, 130 children, and I guess each one of them brings their own success and their own struggle, and if we can celebrate those things, then it makes it worth it.
Before I came to Yale Haynes and had Miss Mormon as a teacher, I didn't really learn about history. I basically call it textbook history. And it's basically like certain stuff they wanted you to hear. She bringing a lot of different sources in. They can help build our own knowledge. She's not just teaching us, oh, this happened. It's basically she giving us the information and we building our own interpretation of it. We come up with certain topics, or we come up with questions, and we get in a circle, and we all just put out our opinions on this certain topic. And it's good to hear like everyone's point of view, because everyone doesn't feel the same way about certain topics, so it's good to hear everyone's point of view.
I think as a teacher, I try to make what we're talking about in class as connected to the real world and as authentic as possible. And so it's important to me that whatever we're studying, that students can answer the question, why is this important for me, for my life, and for my future? And that as we take a look at historical events, we're constantly connecting those to the present and thinking about how can we make a difference in our society today based on what we're learning. So I hope that when students leave my class, they have a better understanding of how our history as a country has led us to the place we are now, and that they understand how as young people they can make a difference to make our society a better place to live in the future. I feel like for me the fulfillment comes, one, in students being able to ask me questions about what's happening around them, and then two, in being able to really think critically about that and engage with me around that is really important. I think that then seeing students who feel motivated to take action based on what we're learning is the most important thing that could happen from my classroom. When I think about why history is important, I feel like we can only understand the present if we understand how the past has gotten us here.
Well, I was always really into science class. It was always one of my true interests. Before science class, we didn't really do much experiments, but now we actually get to do the experiment. If something goes wrong, then it's our fault. We have to find a way to figure it out.
This is my second year at Oyster Adams, and it's been a nice transition because prior to this I was at Wilson High School, and while I loved teaching high school students, I really felt like my personal passion was middle school. I teach my class the way I would want to experience it if I was a student. I was lucky that my first year of teaching, I followed a teacher who had been very into doing labs, and so I followed her framework, and this was actually at a school in Boston. I followed her framework and her labs, and then have built on over the years my own kind of style. I also love something called science cartoons, which I learned from a teacher when I was at Seed. So some people feel like science is a dull or boring subject, but to me it's a mecca, especially for teaching middle schoolers, because they are at an age where they are able to be truly excited about learning. And so I try to infuse as many labs, silly demonstrations, characters, dances into learning the topic, and students light up and get really excited about the class and coming every day.
So Miss Kersetter, I've known her for the past 3 years, and the time that I've known her, all that I've ever seen is her continuous giving of herself to her students, helping them both academically and socially to reach new levels. All teachers, especially high-performing teachers, have to make sure that within their small groups, they're able to meet the needs of students both at levels that are advanced and levels that are below, and taking notes and planning such that they're not just teaching to one level of students, but all students.
I am early childhood education, so I believe giving students as young as 3, 4, and 5 year olds just a quality education, quality environment for them to learn in, believing that all students can learn, taking students who may be below grade level coming in, or even students who are above grade level, and meeting the needs of all learners. But just those little things, social, emotionally, and those small steps, and then just they're 4 and 5, so they love school, and just seeing how much they love school on a day-to-day basis. They love coming, they can't wait to get to school. The hugs that they give you, just the appreciation even from parents who are noticing a difference as well in their children. So that's just kind of what I love seeing, and why I love this teaching profession, knowing that I'm making a difference in the earliest years for these children to take that and succeed later on in life.
So today Ms. Ramakati asked students to describe her, and they said that she was short, strict, and serious, and I think those things describe her really well. She's strict in the sense that she does not compromise on what she expects from students in terms of their character and their habits. And she's also incredibly serious about students learning the math. If you asked kids what she cared most about, in fact, I a few minutes ago asked a student what she cared most about, they would say that, like, we understand the math.
My first year teaching, I didn't know what to expect. My only experiences in a school were the experiences I had as a student. But it's so rewarding on the day-to-day in the really small ways. Challenging, yes, but very rewarding when a kid realizes they can do their work on their own, or just wants some affirmation that what they did was correct, or wants to share with you something personal and you know you've built that relationship. The thing that I love about teaching is that every child comes to me with great potential, no matter what their challenges are, no matter what obstacles they face, no matter what background they have. I always laugh when I have to complete high school applications and I have to rank a child on their academic potential. Every child has great academic potential. And I think that it's our job as teachers to tap that and to really discover that and uncover that as they spend time with us in our classrooms.